Welcome to Childcare Conversations with Kate and Carrie.
Well, today we're going to talk to Chris Mabasa, who I've known since he was just a teacher in a classroom. And now he is part of the management of a multi-site program. And we're going to ask him a little bit about how they manage the communication at a multi-site program while they keep expanding. Like everything was in a status quo for a long time. And then they got one new building and then they doubled the size of that building. And then they were like, ooh, let's build something from scratch. And so they're constantly having to explore new ways to communicate and keep everybody engaged while they're trying totally new things that nobody's ever done in their business before. So
Yeah.
welcome, Chris.
Well,
Hi.
Chris,
Thank you
why
guys
don't
for
you
having
start
me.
real quick with a brief introduction about how long you've been in the field and what your current role is? I know Carrie she's still part of your thunder, but I'm going to let you expand.
Awesome. I appreciate it. Yeah, I've been in childcare my entire basically adult life. From coming out of high school and stuff. I started with a small program, a little mom and pop shop in Houston, and grew from there. That was where I kind of realized I wanted to be in childcare. I was like, oh, I like this. I didn't have like a set path quite yet. And that helped steer that way. And then when I moved out to Austin about 11 years ago, a little over 11 years ago, I got connected with Primrose. Christy Black had just taken over of Primrose and Bee Cave. And I saw a lot of growth opportunity there, as Carrie kind of alluded to earlier. They are definitely growing, and so quickly I realized that I wanted to be in this, and my goal was to be a director someday. And the director at the time, she kind of inspired that as well, and so I just stuck with it. And then we expanded to two more locations. I ended up helping out with the enrollment at our Mueller location when that fourth location opened. Um, and from there growing. And I'd met Carrie a couple of times just from meeting the other directors, but I got to hang out with Carrie during COVID virtually to do the director credentialing. Our director kind of left in the middle of Thanksgiving 2020, and I saw it as my opportunity. So I was like, let me try to jump at this, and ended up taking that course with Carrie. And from there was the director there for 3+ years, and then moved into this role now where I'm an area director for 4 of our locations, the fourth one just having opened, that Easton Park location. And so just moving into there and doing still enrollment stuff, but also helping with the directors and everything as well. So yeah, it's been a long 18-year journey.
Well, I think it's really exciting, Chris, and thank you for sharing that in a snapshot. And I heard you say something, and I'm just going to kind of keep going with it. You mentioned that you took the director credential virtually with Carrie, and this is going to be my version of a shameless plug because we were the first virtual online director credential in the country in 2005. Gotta love when you have a master's degree in instructional technology and they say, you have to put any course you want to online as your capstone project. And I went, okay, and you're going to give me a grade for it.
Yes.
So
I hope you got a good grade.
I did get a good grade. I did get a good grade. So now, literally, we are right about 20 years being an online course. And so we're really excited about it. But one of the things that we wanted to kind of chat with about is the fact that all of your administrative and leadership team have taken the same director credential. So not just that folks in your program are taking leadership training, but you guys have all had the same one. How does that work with having a common language? Because do you guys have staff who have CDAs?
We do have a couple that are either have them or trying to achieve them. So definitely um, have those people in our program for sure.
Absolutely. And you've probably got some staff with some bachelor's degrees. And so a lot of your teachers have some shared language. But as you get into leadership, that language can be depending on what people's backgrounds are, right? So You
Yeah.
were a classroom teacher. You've got some other staff that came into childcare from different avenues.
Hmm.
And y-
Yeah.
was this helpful? Talk to me a little bit about how that works for y'all.
Yeah, 100%. So, in just our leadership programs as well, we do require everybody be a teacher. I think that it helps already to have that background knowledge of being a teacher, being in a classroom, um, to be able to build sometimes better than having not a degree or like things like that, but just it just helps to know that and have been in a classroom. And when somebody tells you to do something, oh, they've done this themselves before. And so I think that also translates once you're in that leadership program, right? And you can be um, moved into these management administrative roles, that you still have that same verbiage that you're using in the classroom. We're all learning from the same place. So you guys have obviously helped out with that, where all of the directors have taken this course. All of the directors understand the state minimum standards. All of the directors are understanding the business side of it. I think is a big one that a lot of people that have just been teachers don't understand, is this business factor. And
Yeah.
that helps understand the owners a little bit, right? Is like, oh, okay, I understand why we have to have these enrollments and why we have to cut back here. And I think that was for me, especially whenever I was moving into it, I was very like teacher driven and all these things. And I was like, oh, wait, there's a business side too. And so then you have to like think of finding that balance. And I think that helped, having you guys help with that. And so, um, everybody is kind of under that same understanding, has that same training, then it kind of blossoms throughout the entire building. So
So in the show notes are going to be the two links for previous episodes with Christy. So Chris, I know that as an organization, you guys do an awful lot of additional training that may be a little outside of the box. Tell me about what else you guys do that perhaps other programs might learn from.
yeah, so for our teachers particularly, we do still hold an in service. We typically like to grab somebody who's either inspiring in an education field, or is somebody that's helping with some of the behavioral things in classrooms. And so we like to utilize that opportunity before back to school. So we'll have that always back right fresh, so that everybody's kind of fresh. Give everybody a refresher. They go out into breakout rooms where they're running curriculum in one of the rooms. They're showing them some safety and health and safety things in another room, and all the teachers are just rotating, and they're getting to be part of our like a little class with a couple of our leaders, just kind of giving them a refresher in all of those trainings that they're going to do with them. And then we do try to host a lunch and learn every other month or so, where they're getting refreshed on some of the Primrose values, but not just the Primrose values, also getting some of that state requirement stuff, right, and getting all of those things going, so that they have meet those health and safety needs, and the abuse and things like that. They're meeting all those trainings, and so we do kind of implement those again once every other month or so, in between. So
But you guys have some other opportunities for your staff, not just your annual in-service. You do another one too, don't you?
Oh, she's just trying to
the
get you to talk about the Dream Summit. That's what she's trying to do.
You
I
want to
know
talk
what
about the
she's
Dream
doing.
Summit? We know a couple of familiar faces have been with us at a couple of these things. So, yeah, the Dream Summit is amazing. The Dream Summit is actually something that's coming up. We do it every like April timeframe. And the Dream Summit is something that's just trying to pour back into the teachers. This is more of an opportunity for things that we've learned from our care sessions with them, and if they want to, look at buying a house, or starting a savings account, if they're just looking to get a little bit more exercise, if they're looking to find a little bit more peace, everything like that. We try to have little guest talkers. They come out and they'll hold a Pilates class, or they'll do a meditation, and they break out in these little sessions, and it's just pouring
Yeah,
into the
and some
teachers.
crazy person put the meditation class next to Carrie and I one time, and I don't know what y'all thought was gonna happen with that, because they kept trying to shush us, and I was like, "We have
uh,
to do this workshop 5 times. We cannot be shushed." So
yes, y'all cannot be shushed for sure.
No,
we,
we're too loud. But
we
I I love the fact that it's like, what are the dreams of your team? and okay, let me get you some resources for that. I think
Hmm.
that shows an actual value for your employees, not just I need a body in a room. They want to
Right.
be able to travel internationally. So we're going to help them get that. By the way, that I'll be happy to help with that session next year
Yeah.
because Kate and I love to travel and we can help people fill out passport forms because
There
I
you
think
go.
everybody should be able to travel. Uh,
100%. I
but
needed you
like
guys for the
those
last 10
kinds,
years. I just got
well,
mine.
we love that.
Yeah.
But like that concept and the values of we all want to speak the same language, and when our staff have something they want to accomplish, you guys find some ways to give them tools. You don't
Hmm.
teach them, you don't hand them the fish, but you help them to learn how to fish.
Yeah.
You
You
don't
got to
just
walk
go,
the walk,
"Here's
right?
your passport."
Yes. There
That'd
you
be
go.
kind of creepy. That'd be creepy if your boss came up and handed you a passport.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I
No, we got to
really
walk the
like the
walk,
fact
not
that
just
y'all do
talk it.
that. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
100%. It does buy into, and they know we care, and hopefully, I think that the retention helps with that, and that overall helps everybody, right? As that, and so, but we do want to walk the walk. We don't just say that we care and do these things, and then it is a vital part of our organization to have that dream summit every year, even if it's landed on a snow day, and that's why we moved it into April. It landed on a really bad snow day one year, and we're like, okay, I don't know if this is gonna keep working. We got to move it around, and so we moved it in that in late March, early April timeframe, and then luckily we're not having to miss it or try to miss it, so kept it
Yeah.
there.
I remember one year it was like the day before Easter, and that was a
Yeah,
bit of a challenge too.
But that was a
Yeah.
reschedule.
that
That was the
was
Oh, was that
reschedule
the
from the snow
reschedule?
year.
that was the
Okay.
reschedule year. It was a
Yep.
bit of a challenge for sure, trying to get a space, trying to get people out that weekend, but it was definitely the reschedule. We'd already had the day off, so we're like, it's the day we got to make it up.
Absolutely. So, Chris, tell me, what are some things that you guys do as a leadership team? So, you guys have four sites, but your leadership team includes HR folks, chief operating officers, like curriculum folks. So, you have more than just four directors and an owner. So, you have an
Hmm.
actual administrative team. And like you said, everybody has gone through the ranks as a teacher, as a director. Everybody in that admin leadership all have the same language. What are some things that you think that y'all do that you've heard, or even that you really just like that you do, even if you aren't sure other people do it, that you think folks
Yeah.
listening might really get something out of?
I think one of our biggest things is just a daily team meeting with among all of our leadership people. It helps everybody in the company. We want to be unified. We want to deliver the same message. We want to be able to do the same events and celebrate the same successes and everything. And so what we do is we have a meeting every morning. I actually run the director meeting every morning, so I'll meet with all four directors every morning, just seeing what everybody's doing. If there's anything that I need to get out to them information wise, that's the opportunity. We do have Selena and Liz who run our curriculum part of it. They do the same thing with our curriculum ladies. We have another team member that runs with our office managers, and then that covers the whole leadership team there. And they're all getting the same message. They're all getting to tell everybody like what they're working on. That helps their other coworkers know like, oh yeah, I do need to work on these immunizations this week. Like it is coming up. This is what we need to work on. And so it keeps everybody accountable. It keeps everybody on task. And overall, like I said, it just gives the same message across the board. And everybody's doing the same thing. We want to post about this on Facebook today. We want to, make sure that we're reminding the teachers to sign these things. We have to get this out. So, best way to kind of get all that out without just like telling everybody go do your own thing and everybody's figured it out. And like I said, again, they help each other. It helps those directors. The directors lean on each other. They call each other. Same thing with our curriculum coordinators and our office managers. Is they it builds a tie, even though their schools are 20 miles apart. That they feel like they're in the same school, the same location. They can help each other, and they do. They go. They sometimes will travel to the other school and go help one another or something. And so it just builds a nice bond with them. as far as what we're doing on a day-to-day basis, that is definitely a big one.
Too, but I think that for a lot of multi-site programs, if I said you had to have a meeting every single day with your directors, they would have a small panic attack. How long is this check-in? How long is this
Oh,
daily
and
meeting?
20 to 30 minutes, max. So
Okay.
it's 20 to 30 minutes. It doesn't always start right at 10:30. It's gonna be some days we all know the hats that directors have to wear. Some days it's that director in the kitchen with their phone propped up and she's like, "Oh yeah," and I'm like, "You go first. Tell me all the things you got on your list today. Get it out of the way. All right, we're gonna see what's up." And then, if we can, we'll go and support. Maybe she's doing the kitchen duties that day. And so it doesn't always necessarily have to start right at the right time, and you don't have to be on it the full 30 minutes, but it's just a quick check-in with everybody. And like you said, it's busy. Directors are busy. The administrative staff is running around like crazy sometimes, especially in these winter months where everybody's a little sick or down or out. So it can be a little bit hard to get on every day, but we still want to make that attention for sure too.
Yep. Well, and this is something that evolves. This wasn't something that you guys had when you had just 2 schools. Like, it
Right.
has evolved over time as you guys have gotten better at this leadership part of running the business.
Yeah. 100%.
Because it used
It's
to be a once a week call on Thursdays,
Yep.
and now it's, it's changed over the years. And instead of having an hour and a half meeting once a week, you can have these 20 or 30-minute calls every day, and people feel more connected and less overwhelmed.
Yeah, 100%. And I think that's definitely helped. We still have a quick 20-minute meeting every week, is like a whole company wide. Everybody jumps in leadership wise, where we get all the information we need from Christy and Jordan, and they get all of that information down. But yeah, the longer meetings have definitely taken a little bit of a cut, and it's easier to squeeze in a 15, 20 minutes here, on a Monday and Tuesday, all throughout the week. So
Well, that sounds great. So, Chris, anything that you want to share before we wrap this up? If somebody's listening to this and they're maybe not sure, um, maybe they're a multi-site and they're one of the directors, what might be a way for them to bring this idea of a daily touch point to their organization with maybe
Mhm.
not panicking their peers
Yeah,
or even the owner or even the leadership going, I don't have time for that. Like,
right.
how would you suggest maybe they bring this up?
I think in the long run, it helps to take a little bit of this time to stop a lot of the issues that happen that take a lot of your day away from you and a lot of the time away from you. It helps to I think you would have to I would say to a leadership group like that is like bringing it up is that it's important for us all to be on the same page. It gives us this time because then it'll take away and you won't feel as stressed in those moments. You won't feel as, like, oh, I'm running around crazy because you have these meetings every week. You have these meetings on a daily with your multi sites. You find out what other teams are doing in these conversations. It helps to just to connect and be like, I haven't tried that way, let me try this now that I've heard it from another person and that's helped me. Maybe that school becomes a little bit less stressful. Maybe it becomes a little bit where you feel like, oh, I do have 15 minutes to take to myself today. I know a lot of us eat lunch at 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock in the afternoon. You're like, I've been at 10, 20 minutes. But I do think that these conversations and being on the same page with your teams and across the company can definitely benefit in that way where you kind of reach a level, you get to that level and you reach that peak where you're like, oh, okay, I actually have time now because it's running smoothly and I know what I'm doing and I got help from somebody else and that helps a lot. So
I think it's also good because it makes it a little less top down and a little bit more we can support each other sideways. You know,
hmm
the other site directors can support. It doesn't have to always be the owner or the regional manager shaking their finger and going, "You didn't do this right." It can be someone else on
yeah.
their same, a peer saying, um, I think I know why that family of 4 left on Tuesday.
hmm
I think maybe you should have handled it a little differently. And then you don't feel as embarrassed if it comes to you from a peer than if it comes from you from your regional manager or your owner.
That 100% helps them to keep each other in check and then it's like, okay, the kids helping each other keep each other in check so the parents don't have to get involved. You're like, so
Yeah,
no,
I,
exactly.
it's how it
It's like
feels
having a
sometimes.
well running classroom.
Love that analogy. Chris, thank you so much for joining us. It's been a great conversation. If you have not already signed up for our podcast newsletter, go to childcareconversations.com and sign up for the newsletter. We do send one out every week. Twice a week with every episode. And we can't wait to see y'all later in the week.
Thank you.
Thanks for tuning in. We love bringing you real talk and fresh insight from the world of early childhood education. Be sure to follow us on social media to stay connected and catch all of the latest episodes. And if you're planning a conference, training, or special event, Kate and Carrie would love to speak to your audience. You can learn more about their keynote sessions and workshops at kateandcarrie.com. If you learned something today, share the show and leave us a review below. We'll see you next time on Childcare Conversations.